Okay, this one might split the crowd. What does this sign say? Obviously, it's a pay and display at the Royal Parks, which has an interesting quirk to it, which I'll come back to in a minute. It says, pay and display, Monday to Sunday, 8:30 to 6:30, maximum stay 4 hours, except public holiday, no maximum time limit, tickets this way, no parking, midnight to 8:30 a.m. Let's break it down. But before we get into that, if you're new to me, I'm Daniel Shen-Smith, the Barrister of England and Wales. I enjoy helping you to understand law. Please hit that subscribe button. That's the one metric that really helps me to know that I'm growing my audience and my channel. And I'm sneaking up on 500,000, 500,000 subscribers over, 4 years now. So thank you all so much for doing that, and bop the like button while you're down there. And for those of you that watch me regularly, thank you. I really appreciate it. So what does this sign say? The Monday to Sunday bit is relatively straightforward. So every day, 8:30 to 6:30, this pay and display is in operation. Maximum stay 4 hours. That's also fairly straightforward. You can only stay for 4 hours. It's, and the very bottom bit, midnight to 8:30, so you can't be there between midnight and 8:30. Also relatively straightforward. A little bit of common sense later means that the pay and display is only operational between 8:30 and 6:30, therefore not between 6:30 and midnight, but you can't stay after midnight. All that aside, the bit that people take issue with, because this is resulting in fines in inverted commas, which is interesting because on the Royal Parks, this is the bit that I said I'd come back to, in the Royal Parks, they are ECNs, which is an excess charge notice. These ones here, which very broadly act like a penalty charge notice. The fine kind, not the fine as in good kind, the fine kind, the bad kind of fine kind, if you know what I mean. But interestingly, the picture on the website here says parking charge notice. So no severe criticism of Royal Parks, but please change the photograph because it's wrong. If it's an excess charge notice, which acts broadly in the same way as a penalty charge notice, it shouldn't have a photograph of parking charge notice. They are very different. But anyway, let's move on from that point. Let's look at this. The bit that's catching people out is the bit in the middle. This, thanks to one of my viewers sending it to me, has caught at least them out. Obviously, they're not thankful for the ticket, but I'm thankful to them for sending it because lots of people might get caught out by this. And there's two things I'll say about that. First of all, hopefully anyone that watches this video will no longer be confused by this. But secondly, anyone that has been confused by this and got a ticket should hopefully have some way of challenging it, at least in my view. Let's take a look. It says, except public holiday, no maximum time limit. There's two ways of reading this bit, and that's the problem. It's ambiguous. These signs, should be clear and unambiguous. And I take that from the statutory guidance on civil parking enforcement, which says unclear restrictions or restrictions that do not comply with regulations or Secretary of State guidance will confuse people and ultimately undermine the operation and enforcement of the scheme overall. So they should be clear. And if not, they should be cancelled. Now, this bit here in the middle, except public holiday, could be read either that it's not pay and display during public holidays, and there's no maximum time limit, so you can stay as long as you like during the public holidays, and there's no pay and display. That's one interpretation. The other one, which I understand to be the correct one, is that during the public holiday, and I understand that from an email that's been sent to one of my viewers from the Royal Parks, or whoever it is that's managing the parking for the Royal Parks, say that it's not a time limit during the public holiday, but it's still pay and display. So you still have to pay, but there's no maximum time limit. That's the alternative reading of this sign. Let me know in the comments, which way around did you think it was? Did you believe except public holiday, no maximum time limit means that there's no pay and display on public holidays, you can stay as long as you like? Or did you think that it means that it's still pay and display, but there's no maximum time limit? Now, in my view, that's ambiguous. There's two ways of reading it. You could read it either way. Perfectly legitimately, perfectly reasonably, any reasonable person could read that sign either which way round, which is not satisfactory. They should be unambiguous and clear, and the statutory guidance itself says so. So if it's not clear, that would be my basis upon which to challenge it. not least of which the photograph on the website, which is wrong in my view. It says parking charge notice, and it's not. It's a excess charge notice. Very broadly similar rules apply to a penalty charge notice, but it's not a parking charge. It's not a private charge notice. So let me know in the comments what you think. I think that's ambiguous. I think therefore that's unfair. I think that therefore it should be unenforceable. This is not legal advice. You know that by now. But in my view, that's unfair and therefore should be cancelled. If you've had a ticket for that reason and you've misunderstood it for that reason, and i.e., just to be clear, if you've not paid for a ticket on a public holiday because you took this sign to mean pay and display except public holiday, you might just drive on, see that and think, we're okay. It's public holiday, no maximum time limit, so don't need to pay and I can stay as long as I like. If that's what you genuinely believed, because that's how the sign could read, a reasonable interpretation of the sign could exactly be that, then I think that's a reasonable ground to challenge it. Let me know if this has caught you out. It's caught at least one of you out because you sent me the email. And let me know what you think. Do you think that's unreasonable? I think that's at least one way of reading it, which is makes the sign ambiguous. Let me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe and come back for more. I'll see you next time.